Cogeneration power plant. Before learning about cogeneration power plant, let us know what is cogeneration. Cogeneration is also known as a combined heat and power. This system is used to produce electricity and steam simultaneously from a single fuel unit. That's why it is also known as a combined heat and power system. Cogeneration systems are widely used in industrial plants, refineries, paper mills, food processing plants, and other facilities requiring process, steam, hot water, and electricity for machines, lighting, and other purposes. The application of cogeneration is district heating. This district heating is used to provide steam or hot water for space heating. Space heating means it is a central heating in a room, and also it is used for thermal needs together with electricity for domestic, commercial, and industrial purposes. Cogeneration systems are, it can be based on vapor power plant, gas turbine power plant, reciprocating internal combustion engines, and fuel cells. Okay. So this is about cogeneration. Cogeneration, it is known as combined heat and power produces simultaneously from a single fuel unit. That is known as cogeneration. Now let us see back pressure district heating plant, which is used to export steam for various uses. Uses like heating water, sterilizing, paper mills, or in refinery industries. Now let us see schematic diagram of back pressure plant. It is almost like a simple Rankine cycle. The main difference is in the process 2 to 3, the condenser is replaced with the process plant. Remaining parts are same. It has boiler, pump, and turbine. As we know that steam from the boiler will enter into the turbine in the process 1 to 2. After expanding through the turbine, the expanded steam will enter into the process plant for various uses, like as we discussed, for heating the water, or in industries, wherever the energy required, it will send to the process plants. Once this energy is utilized in the process plants, the condensate will send to the pump. From the pump, it will enter into the boiler, where water will convert it into steam. Again, that steam will enter into the turbine. It is a cyclic process. Moreover, from the turbine is giving work. This turbine, it will connect it to the generator. So that the generator will rotate. It will convert the mechanical energy into electrical energy. So here, this plant producing simultaneously heat in the process plant, and also it producing a power. So it is called it as a combined heat power cycle, or it is known as a cogeneration. So this is the back pressure plant. Common definition for back pressure is power generated by the plant is linked to the district heating need for steam. It is known as back pressure plant. Now let us see other type of cogeneration plant, that is extraction plant. It is also known as a pass out turbine. In the name itself it is there, extraction. Here steam extracted from the turbine which is entered into the process plant for various uses. Now let us see schematic diagram of extraction plant. It is almost like a regenerative vapor plant. The main difference is feed water heater replaced with the process plant. Remaining components are same as regenerative vapor plant. Those are pump, boiler and turbine, and also it will have condenser. Now let us see working. As we know that steam from the boiler will enter into the turbine where it expands. Here, during expanding through the turbine, some amount of steam extracted from the turbine that will send to the process plant. Again I am repeating, during expansion through the turbine at point 2, the steam extracted and that will send to the process plant. After sending to the process plant, this energy it will be used for various uses like heating water, for centralized heating, or it may be used in the industries nearby plant area. Once this energy utilized, the condensate will send to the pump. From the pump it will send to the boiler. From the boiler it will send to the turbine. It is a cyclic process. Here, moreover, the advantage is in the process 122, 223, 324, 425 and 421, 122 again. So this cycle it is also producing a power. So here simultaneously it producing both power and heat. So it is a cogeneration plant, also known as a combined heat and power. The next topic is carbon capture and storage. As we know that power plants will produce exhaust gases which contains carbon dioxide and other gases. Once this carbon dioxide enters into the atmosphere, there will be air pollution. So we have to reduce the CO2 emissions. Nowadays, instead of fossil fuel, people have been using energy resources. Those are wind, hydropower, solar plants, which will reduce the CO2 emission. But in India and around the world, most of the power plants are depending on fossil fuel. Those are fossil fuel vapor power plants. So we have to reduce the CO2 emission at the plant level itself. We have two possibilities. By using low carbon fuels, those are natural gas and less coal. The other possibility is removal of carbon dioxide from the exhaust gas. Here different techniques are there to capture and store the carbon dioxide. As you can see here, this is the plant. Here the CO2 captured from the exhaust gas that will send to the say some seashore. It will send to the seashore. It will at the low depth, so that we can take away the CO2 from the plant and from the atmosphere to the sea. The other technique is they will send to the underground and they store inside the oil and gas reservoirs. So these are the different techniques to store carbon and also capturing the carbon. Now let us solve a couple of problems on regenerative Rankine cycle. Now let us see first example. A steam power plant operates on an ideal regenerative Rankine cycle. Turbine inlet conditions are 15 megapascal and 600 degrees centigrade, and the condensate pressure is 10 kilopascal. Some steam leaves the turbine at 1.2 megapascal and enters in an open type feed water heater. Find thermal efficiency and fraction of steam expanded. In this problem, clearly they mention that it is a regenerative Rankine cycle and open type feed water heater. So it is a open type feed water heater regenerative Rankine cycle. Now let us see TS diagram for open type feed water heater regenerative Rankine cycle. As we know that process 122 is isentropic expansion process through high pressure turbine, and process 223 is isentropic expansion process in the low pressure turbine. Here process 425 is the isentropic compression in the pump 1. 627 is isentropic compression in the pump 2. Remaining process in the condenser, boiler, open feed water heater are constant pressure process. Now let us see, in the problem they given that turbine inlet conditions are 15 megapascal and 600 degrees centigrade. So here 7 to 1 is the heat addition process. Here pressure is 15 megapascal and temperature 600 degree centigrade. And also they given that condensate pressure is 10 kilopascal. So here 3 to 4 is the condensation process. Here pressure is 10 kilopascal. Some steam leaves the turbine at 1.2 megapascal and enters in a open type feed water heater, which means, as we know that in regenerative Rankine cycle, after passing through the high pressure turbine in the process 1 to 2, at point 2 some fraction of steam extracted at point 2. So that particular pressure is 1.2 megapascal. This pressure steam will enter into the open feed water heater in the process 5 to 6. So this is the given data. Here we have to find the thermal efficiency and fraction of steam expended. Now see, we know that here heat addition process in the boiler 7 to 1, which is constant pressure process. So P1 equals to P7, that is 15 megapascal. And one more thing is process 5 to 6 is the in open feed water heater. This is also open constant pressure process, and also 2 to 6 also constant pressure process. So we can write it as P5 equals to P2 equals to P6 equals to 1.2 megapascal. And also they given that temperature at the inlet of the turbine is 600 degrees centigrade. So since the point is 1, T1 equals to 100 degrees centigrade. Finally, in the condensation process is 3 to 4, which is constant pressure process. The given pressure is 10 kilopascal. So P3 equals to P4 equals to 10 kilopascal. So this is the given data. From this data, we have to find the thermal efficiency and fraction of steam expended. Now let us find enthalpy at point 4. Here the point 4 is on saturated liquid line. This is the saturated liquid line. This is the saturated vapor line. Since the point is on saturated liquid line, we have to refer the saturated steam table at a given pressure 10 kilopascal. So once you refer the saturated steam table at 10 kilopascal, you will get the enthalpy H4 equals to 191.81 kilojoule per kg and specific volume equals to 0.001010 metric cube per kg. Now here pump 1 is process 5 to 4. Process 5 to 4 is pump 1. So we know that work input to the pump equals to integral V dP. So since we are finding at point 4, V4 into, in the process 5 to 4 there are two states 4 and 5, so we can write it as P5 minus P4. Here we know the value of the V4 we have taken from the steam table. P5 and P4 values are already given in the problem, because P5 equals to P2, P4 equals to P3. So if you substitute those values, you will get the work done by the pump 1 in the process 4 to 5. Same way, we can find the enthalpy at point 6. So here also point 6 is on saturation liquid line. Here also we have to refer the saturated steam table at given pressure 1.2 megapascal. So enthalpy at point 1.2 megapascal is 798.33 kilojoule per kg. Specific volume is 0.001138 metric cube per kg. These values I have taken from the saturation steam table, because the point 6 is on saturated liquid line. Now we can find the work done by the second pump. In the process 6 to 7 is the second pump. So work done equals to, so since the point is 6, here V6 and process 6 to 7. So P7 minus P6. Here also we know the values of P7, P6 and V6. P7, P6 values are already given in the problem. V6 value we have taken from the steam table. Once you substitute the values, you will get the work done by the pump in the process 6 to 7, that is 15.70 kilojoule per kg. Now let us find enthalpy at point 1. As you can see in TS diagram, the point 1 is in the superheated region. So here we have to refer the superheated steam table at given pressure 15 megapascal and temperature 600 degrees centigrade. So at 600 degrees centigrade and pressure of 15 megapascal, we have to refer the superheated steam table. We can find the enthalpy at point 1, 3583.1 kilojoule per kg, and entropy at point 1, 6.6796 kilojoule per kg. These values are I have taken from the superheated steam table. As we know that process 1 to 2 is the isentropic expansion process. So we can write it as S1 equals to S2. So now at point 2 we can find the temperature T2, because here we know the value of the pressure at point 2 and also we know the entropy S2. So at that particular pressure and entropy, if you look at the steam table, we can find the temperature T2. By interpolation, we can find the H2 value. H2 equals to 2860.2 kilojoule per kg. So the temperature is 218.4 degrees centigrade. So in the steam table, we may not have 2184 degrees centigrade. So by doing interpolation, we can find the T2 value, that is T1 218.4 degrees centigrade. Now let us find the value H5, enthalpy at point 5. So here process 4 to 5 is the isentropic compression process in the pump P1. So we can write it as work done by the pump P1 equals to, since the process is 4 to 5, H5 minus H4. So this we can write it as H5 equals to H4 plus work done by the pump 1. We just calculated work done by the pump 1. H4 value we have taken from the steam table. If you substitute both the values, we will get the enthalpy at point 5, that is 193.01 kilojoule per kg. Now let us find enthalpy at point 7. Here we know that process 6 to 7 is the isentropic compression in the pump 2. So we can write it as work done by the pump 2 equals to H7 minus H6, because the process is 6 to 7. So this equation we can write it as H7 equals to work done by the pump 2 plus H6. Work done by the pump 2 we already calculated. H6 value we have taken from the steam table at 1.2 megapascal. Once you substitute the values, you will get the H7 value, enthalpy at point 7, that is 814.03 kilojoule per kg. Now we can find the amount of steam extracted at point 2. As we know that in the process 1 to 2, after expanding through the high pressure turbine in the process 1 to 2, at point 2, some amount of steam extracted. So that is Y. So to find the Y, this is the equation H6 minus H5 divided by H2 minus H5. This equation we already derived in the previous class. So here we know all the values H6, H5 and H2. Once you substitute all the values, you will get the amount of steam extracted at point 2. That is Y equals to 0.227. Now we know the value of enthalpy at 4, enthalpy at 5, enthalpy at 7, enthalpy at point 1, point 6 and point 2. Now we have to calculate the enthalpy at point 3. So we know that if you look at the TS diagram, the process 2 to 3 is the isentropic expansion process. So we can write it as S2 equals to S3. So S2 equals to S3. To find the enthalpy at point 3, so by using this equation, S2 equals to S3 equals to SF plus X SFG. So here SF and SFG values are, we have to take from the steam table at 10 kilopascal, because at point 3 the pressure is 10 kilopascal, which is in the saturation zone. So we have to refer the saturation table at 10 kilopascal. So we can get the values of SF and SFG. Once you substitute, we can get the dryness fraction X3. So that is 0.804. Now from this, once we know the X3 value, we can find the enthalpy at point 3. That is H3 equals to, we can write it as HF plus X into HFG. So here also HF value and HFG values are, we have to take from the steam table at 10 kilopascal, because the point 3 is in the saturation zone. Once we take the values from the saturated steam table, we can get the H3 value, that is 2113.3 kilojoule per kg. Now we can find the heat addition in the boiler, heat rejection in the condenser. So once we know the heat addition and heat rejection, we can find the efficiency of the cycle. So let us find heat addition in the boiler. So as you can see in TS diagram, heat addition in the boiler is in the process 7 to 1. So we can write it as H1 equals to Qn equals to H1 minus H7. So since we know the values of H1 and H7, we can find the heat addition in the boiler, that is 2769.1 kilojoule per kg. Now we know the enthalpy values at all points 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. At all the states we calculated enthalpy. So now we can find the efficiency. So Q out equals to heat rejection in the process 3 to 4. So that is H3 minus H4, and in the process 3 to 4, The mass is 1 minus y kg. We know that this we already discussed. Assume that 1 kg mass expanding through the high pressure turbine in the process 122 and y fraction of steam extracted at point 2. So the remaining mass will be 1 minus y enters into the process 2 to 3, which is low pressure turbine. After expanding through the low pressure turbine, the same mass will enter into the condenser. So here mass is 1 minus y. To find the heat rejection in the condenser, we can write it as Q out equals to H3 minus H4. Since the states are between 3 to 4, we can write it as H3 minus H4. During this process, the mass is 1 minus y. So into 1 minus y. So 1 minus y value we already calculated. H3, H4 values we already calculated. So Q out equals to 1486.9 kilojoule per kg. Now we can find the efficiency because we calculated Q out heat rejection in the condenser, Q in heat addition in the boiler. Both we already calculated. So once you substitute the values Q out and Q in, we can get the efficiency, that is 46.3%.